that most of you have quite a poor vocabulary and emotional words. So now, how does that work if we're wired an emotional being? It's like a little kid comes up to you and says, I hate you. The little kid doesn't hate you, he just doesn't know any other word. He may be frustrated, or he may be scared, or he may be alone, or he may feel abandoned. So he uses the word hate because that's the only emotional word he knows. We have the same problem as adults. You know, I never heard this word, but how about adore? Instead of saying I love somebody, how about saying I adore, or I feel comfortable, or I feel peaceful, like your husband used.
Cherish.
So what happens is that, just like if you go out with a bird watcher, and to you, all those things with wings are just birds. Some are white, and some are red, and some are pink, but they're just birds. And you go out with a bird watcher, and he's got his glasses, and he's got his hat, and all his gear on, and all of a sudden, birds become amazing. You see this bird and that bird, and you understand where this bird lives, and that bird talks, and the way this bird's saying that. And all of a sudden, birds become a whole new world. So the same happens with us. If we don't have a vocabulary and emotion, our thoughts come through our emotional zone and go right out to action, and we can't use our emotions. We don't really know, we haven't labeled them. You need to learn how to label your emotions. Now, I don't have time tonight, but in our handwriting is about 9 different ways how we deal with emotion. Sometimes we blame other people. Sometimes we blame ourselves. Sometimes we want the emotions just to dissipate. We don't want to deal with it. How about the person who looks at themselves as I can handle pressure? I love that one. I can handle it. I'm pretty good. I can handle a lot of pressure until you give me a little more pressure, just a little more, and boom, they pop. Oh, that was just, that was just something. But I can handle pressure now. I'm okay now. I emptied out. There's people who have had a major emotional event that show that in their handwriting, that they've shut down emotionally. So one of the things that I do, especially when I'm in a private session, I work really hard to help the people understand how to get in touch with their emotions, how to label them. It's real important to know. The phrase goes like this: the behavior causes me to feel. As opposed to, you never, you always. But when you drove really fast, you made me feel scared. When you brought me roses, you made me feel that you adored me. Whatever that word you used. So, as opposed to attacking somebody in a positive or positive way, we need to learn to get in touch with how we feel. It'll open us up. Because now, you enjoy people how they think. And you enjoy people how they act. But you really don't know how they feel in those things. And they don't know how you feel. The better you're able to express your feelings on those actions and thoughts, the more the people will get to understand you and appreciate you. I don't have time to show you that detailed handwriting, but you have to trust me that it's there with the Y's and the G's. I'm going to tell you how the proper way how to make it. Here's my whiteboard right here. Okay, here's a Y, the top part, comes down to the lower zone, comes right through the baseline where it's starting to go down, it comes right there and goes on to the next letter. That the person had an emotional feeling, is in touch with it, and knows how to express it properly, and gives them energy so I can go out and do his day. How you blame somebody else, you come back into the words over here. How you blame, that's how you blame yourself. You go into the word that you just wrote, and you come back into the next word. The lower zone comes right over here, the letter before it. You blame somebody else by going quickly into the next word, and not coming through that middle zone. Any questions? So now to answer this question over here that we had, is that a graphologist gets to know how someone looks at themselves in the present, how they see themselves in the future, how they relate to the outside world, how they look at themselves in the inside world. All through your handwriting, because it's who you are. It's your personality. And you didn't have any filters, because up until tonight, most of you didn't know there was something to know. Most of you didn't have a clue that there was something to know, that there was something hidden in your handwriting that you didn't know about. In fact, the largest piece of knowledge is what you don't know that you don't know. You know what you know, and you know what you don't know. But you don't have a clue sometimes that there's something that you don't know. And what I showed you tonight, amongst other things, I demonstrated you tonight, that there was some field of science that you didn't know that you didn't know. And the neat thing about it, I find, is that what happens in these Chabad houses a lot of times is they show you things that you didn't know that you didn't know. And all of a sudden, your eyes open up and say, wow, my lifestyle includes that also? My lifestyle is there too? That's amazing. What else is there that I don't know that I don't know? I want to thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. You've been a great audience. Anybody like to see me privately, come up and make an appointment, I'll be